Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Randy back with another YouTube video. We are back officially. You guys are probably wondering where the fuck I was last week. At least, you know, why I didn't upload last week and shit. So on Monday, October 20th, I actually had my wisdom teeth removed, all 4 of them. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I was like terrified of this shit, bro. Like, bro, I was like, it was my first surgery ever. The only quote-unquote procedure I've done before is an endoscopy, which, if you guys don't know what that is, it's basically like they basically shove a camera down your throat, pause. But to take pictures and shit, because I had stomach issues when I was younger, and yeah, I needed to get that done, and then I was completely fine. But this was my first ever like surgery. You know, I'm 25 years old. I've never had surgery before, so going into it, I was pretty nervous. Now, should I have been nervous? Not really, because it's just like, bro, it's just wisdom tooth surgery. Like, I think if I remember seeing online, like wisdom tooth surgery is like one of the most common surgeries in the United States. Like, people do that shit like every single day. I'm not even lying, like thousands of people do it every day. But for me, I was just nervous. You know, I have anxiety, so I'm pretty just prone to overthinking about shit. And even something simple as this, you know, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm justified in, you know, how I was feeling during it, because like I said, I mean, I have anxiety. It was my first time having surgery. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about the complications, what could go wrong, you know, not that those things were likely to happen, but I don't know. I was just overthinking that shit like crazy. So let me kind of tell you guys how my day went, you know, leading up to that shit. So I woke up on Monday. I actually had like a phone interview for like this job, and that went pretty well, thankfully. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. But then it was around like 2 p.m., which was like the time that I had to go schedule to, you know, go get my surgery done and stuff like that. And pretty much like, you know, I didn't have anything to drink. I didn't have anything to eat. So my mind was pretty like fucking, I guess like, I don't want to say my mind was like numb, but like, I don't know. I was just like, you know that feeling when you haven't eaten or drinking anything and you're kind of just like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of how I was feeling like. And so, you know, I was driving, and then, you know, we got there and everything, and yeah, no, I sat down in the chair, and they were just connecting like hella things to me, like, you know what I'm saying, like these, I think they said like these EKG monitors on my wrist and shit, to measure like my heart rate, and I had like a bunch of other stuff on me and stuff like that. But yeah, I was terrified. In front of me was like I forgot what the machine is. I'm not really good with medical terminology, but it's just a machine in front of me to measure like my heart rate, I think my CO2 levels, and my blood pressure. I don't know, but if you guys are in the medical field and you guys know about that machine, that's what I was hooked up onto. And so yeah, my heart rate during this was 120, bro. Like, you know, I was going between like 100, the lowest I saw was like 105, and the highest I saw was like 130. And like, bro, that's how you know I was freaking out about like having surgery, because like, why was my heart rate so high? You know, my heart rate is usually in like the 60s and 70s, you know, that's like what's considered like a healthy heart rate and whatever the fuck. But it's like, I was sitting down, I was basically exercising. Like, that's how high my heart rate was. And so my surgeon came into the room and she was like, yo, are you okay? Like, is everything all right? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm just like nervous. And she was like, oh no, like you shouldn't be, like, you know, you're good. Like, you know, you're gonna be fine. It's nothing crazy. And she even tried calming me down too, which was like in the sense of like, you know, she was asking me like, oh, how many tattoos do you have? Like, I really like your tattoos. Like, tell me more about them. And I'm not gonna lie, for me, that kind of worked and like calming me down, and just having someone talk to me while I was waiting. Because another thing is, I was sitting in this room by myself. People and, you know, dentists and workers were just walking by, and I was just there just freaking out until the whole thing started. And like, you know, then eventually everybody came in, and you know, they brought this little table with like all the materials and everything they were gonna use to do the surgery. And yeah, again, like I said, I was freaking out. And then so the fun part, this is where the fun part begins, because I was given like the oxygen mask, because we're gonna begin the procedure. And usually from what I've seen from other people's experiences and what I've seen in other videos, they usually give you like a countdown to I guess like, you know, to you know, count down before you get knocked out. I'm not gonna lie, they put the oxygen mask on me, and there was no countdown, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was just, they put it on me. I was breathing in and out. And then like 1 second later, I was done. It was kind of weird. You know when you play video games and you skip a cutscene and you're just playing again? That's basically what happened to me. Like I was here one moment and then I was just done. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of weird, bro. Like, so I don't know, it's weird. When I was given anesthesia when I was younger as a kid, my vision was getting blurry and then I blacked out and then I woke up. So I was kind of expecting the same thing, but no, I was like awake one moment and then I was just done the next. Like it was weird. So, and the whole surgery I think was like maybe like 30 to 45 minutes. So it wasn't too bad. So then, like I said, I woke up afterwards and I was my face just felt, I just felt it. Like my face just felt numb. I obviously wasn't trying to touch my face during none of this shit, but I could like barely walk, and I was sitting down and I was waiting for my mom, and we were pretty much done. But fast forward me getting my medication in Walgreens and me going home and stuff like that. But I was just laying down in bed and I could feel my face like puffed up, and it was so weird. And my like bottom left of like my lip was like so like swollen and numb. And it felt so weird to touch. It felt like my lip was like a balloon. Like it was so fucking weird. But yeah, no. And then the whole first day after that shit, I was just trying to relax. And my mouth was bleeding a lot. And there was actually a time where like I was gonna take out the gauze pads that they put in my mouth, and I took it out, and I spilled so much blood like on my shirt. It was pretty fucking gross. But I just thought that shit was funny. But basically, just to kind of recap to you guys, like after the first day and the surgery and everything, what happened the following week, or just like the rest of the week and everything, was just, it really was just like healing and just waiting for me to get better. And I was just like eating nothing. I'm gonna be honest, like I wasn't eating anything, bro, like which I know isn't good for you, but for the most part I was just eating Jello. I was eating yogurt. I was drinking some like really light juice that I looked up some juices that I could drink. I saw like online like cranberry juice, pineapple juice, stuff like that, especially pineapple juice. I remember hearing that pineapple juice like leading up to the procedure can like it like minimizes your swelling, which I think is kind of true. I'm not gonna lie, because I didn't experience that much swelling, unless it was just just a me thing, just genetics, or the pineapple juice really helped. I have no idea. I don't know if it's a placebo effect, no idea. But yeah, for that whole week I was pretty much just eating like yogurt, Jello. That's pretty much it. And on the days that I was feeling a little bit better, my mom did make me like mashed potatoes and boiled eggs, just kind of like mashed together, like really mashed. So that was, and then I was just eating like one meal a day pretty much, and that was just it. Because the yogurt and the Jello was not enough to satiate me. Like it was just because I'm not gonna say I'm a big dude or I'm a fat ass or anything like that, but like I need a little bit more food than that, at least from a regular basis. But yeah, no, over the course of a week, I'm not gonna lie, like now I'm good. Now all my stitches are gone. I can eat food normally again. I just have to make sure there's nothing really stuck in like the holes that I have, like from the wisdom teeth. But I lost a total of like 10 pounds, which is fucking crazy. And let me tell you guys the worst days, bro. So I had it last Monday, October 20th, and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of that week were like some of the worst days that I've ever felt. And during all this, I'm saying, like I was taking my medication like to the T, bro, following instructions to the T. I was like, yo, I don't want no dry socket, I don't want no infection, none of that shit is happening to me. So I was taking my antibiotics, I was taking my ibuprofen, I was taking my pain medications, all that shit. And Thursday I woke up in like actual real like jaw, like I had real jaw pain. I was like, yo, what the fuck? I'm like, yo, why does this shit hurt so much, bro? I was like, I was going through it, bro. You know what I'm saying? And like, yo, I was just like, fuck. So then, I took my medication, and then that shit went away, and then I was completely fine. But then, like, yeah, no, like I said, I felt like really fucking sick and like in pain. I was like, oh shit, like this came out of nowhere. So this is when I started feeling like, okay, this is probably when the medication and anesthesia, like, all that shit from the surgery was just pretty much starting to wear off. So this is pretty much when I started to have to, I guess, like lock in with my medication, like, all right, make sure I'm doing everything on time and all that stuff. So Thursday I felt better, after that shit. Friday I woke up at like 6 a.m. and I was just freezing. Mind you, I got a thick ass blanket too. And I just woke up like fucking freezing, bro. Like, it was so bad. And then I got, I ended up getting a thicker blanket that I had. And then I switched to, and then actually scrap that. I actually ended up falling asleep. And then I woke up hours later, bro, drenched in sweat. Like, I'm telling you, like sweating. Like, my bed was wet. Again, pause. But like, that's how bad it was, bro. And like, you know what I'm saying? Then eventually I just started getting better. And then Friday night, my tonsils actually started getting kind of swollen. And like, it was just, it was kind of hard to swallow, pause again. And it was just, I just felt like shit. And I actually ended up throwing up, which is kind of obviously gross, but yeah, no, just to go show you how much, like, how sick I felt. And especially like, still recovering from wisdom tooth surgery, like my mouth hurt, like I wasn't in the clear, none of that shit. But, and then Saturday, I was just dealing with like, the whole tonsillitis and all that, and that shit thankfully went away. I spoke to my surgeon about it. And yeah, no, that was pretty much it. So yeah, for anybody that's about to have wisdom tooth surgery coming up, or is going to get all full removed, there's just sometime in the future you're gonna get it. I'm just gonna say you're gonna be completely fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it is really nerve-wracking, and like I said, like, I have anxiety. I have really bad anxiety. I tend to overthink a lot about the littlest things, and I was terrified of this surgery. But it went completely well. If I had to give any pieces of advice to anybody that's about to have the surgery, please drink a lot of water, just like in during the recovery. Please have some food ready for while you're recovering. Like I said, jello, yogurt, applesauce, smoothies. And again, follow your surgeon or dentist like instructions to the T. Like, just as long as you follow your your dentist instructions, you're gonna be straight. And then just the typical things, like, please avoid straws, avoid like swishing your mouth and like all that stuff. Like, basically, like, everything that they tell you not to do, like, please don't do it, because if you do end up doing it, you run the chance of getting an infection or dry socket and all these other painful and bad things. So I'm just making this video to tell you guys about my experience, and so that you guys like, if you guys are gonna end up like having it in the future, like, it's not bad. Like, you will be uncomfortable for like a week, but once you're done with the week and shit, like, bro, you're gonna be completely fine. So it's nothing to really worry about. If I can get through it, you guys can too. And I've heard a lot of horror stories, but that's really people that never follow the instructions. So as long as you guys follow your instructions given to you by your dentist and everything, you eat well, you stay hydrated, you're gonna be completely fine. So we back. Sorry for not uploading the past week, but I am feeling better now. So I might, I might give you guys a little something next. I might give you guys another video. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get back on my bullshit. But yeah, that's what happened to me. That's where I was. And thank you guys for being patient. Thank you guys for being here with me. I might start to upload more, so you guys might see that. And you know what? Look at this shit. I actually ended up dying here. Look, that fucking shit went off and I died. Like, you guys don't understand how mad I was. Okay, let me just end. The video's about to end right now, so let me just stop. But I love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the future video. Peace.